I am here with Peter Lavelle, host of RT's CrossTalk. Peter, welcome. We have some more news coming out of Syria with Trump's pullout from Syria, which is not really so much of a pullout. Let's explain to our viewers what's going on here.
Well, the latest chapter in this saga, starting in December, where there was a very sudden statement on the part of Trump that the U.S. would be withdrawing quickly. That's 2,000, at least that's official number, 2,000 troops in Syria. Now, after 2 months now, almost 2 months of his own administration sabotaging him, now it's got the number is 200 will remain after withdrawal. So it's not going to be a withdrawal. Well, the interesting thing for me is we look at the language here. It's being called a peacekeeping group. Now, let's think about that. First of all, peacekeeping group doesn't really have any meaning under international law. It's not being sanctioned by the United Nations. The country that's being affected, Syria, did not invite this peacekeeping group. The U.S. presence is illegal in Syria. And what it does is, this is an intentional way, now my interpretation, what it means, this is an intentional way to not allow the vested parties, when I'm thinking of Syria, Russia, Iran, and Turkey, to find some kind of resolution here. And the Turks are going to be very frustrated with this. Though I can see that maybe this gives Erdogan some breathing room, because he still hasn't decided what to do with Idlib and supporting the jihadists there. But it's a way for John Bolton to say, well, if we don't get the result we want, we're going to stay there until we get it. The unfortunate thing, first of all, is that they use the excuse to protect the Kurds. That's being disingenuous. What they're doing is they're blocking the possibility of the Kurds and the Syrian government to come to terms, which is very real, very possible. It won't be easy, but it's there, all right? And so what the U.S. is doing now is intentionally sabotaging that. After the British and the French kind of waffled back and forth. First, we're going to stay even if you leave, and now they said they're going to leave, and now it looks like Bolton wants them to come back. So it's an international force, right. All right? So what it is it's just throwing a wrench into the works, and it's not. All it does is we go back to what was said by the administration a few months ago. The whole point of Syria is to churn the quagmire, just keep it a quagmire, because if you don't get the result you want, then you don't want any result, and it won't. And it'll it's putting a barrier for the Damascus government to finally put this conflict to an end. And 200 troops. I'm not. What's that? What kind of deterrent is that? I don't know.
What does that mean, practically speaking? I mean, they're going to have a swath of land in Syria that's going to be protected by the U.S. military and is off limits to.
Also, yeah, and also what it does. Also, what it does is it impedes reconstruction, because the conflict is still ongoing. There's still foreign occupation of the country. This stops a lot of things. I mean, it's very interesting. I saw some reports just a few days ago. Remember, Russia has caused this refugee flow into Europe. They're doing it intentionally to disrupt Europe. No, the Syrians want to come home. They're coming home. They want to rebuild. They're not being forced. No one's kicking them out of Europe. No one's kicking them out of Turkey. They want to go home and start rebuilding their country. And now we have the change of scenario here, where everyone in the region is trying to adapt and realize what's going on here. And then it's stir up the pot. All right. This is so counterproductive. And what it is, too, it is Trump's administration is basically slapping him in the face in public. OK, so the president of the United States says there's going to be a withdrawal. But I guess there isn't going to be a withdrawal. So is he in charge here of this? And this is an intentional effort on part of Bolton and Pompeo to be at odds with the president. And as we both know, that Trump is very much preoccupied with two things right now: the wall, the national emergency, and of course the upcoming summit in Vietnam. So again, we have a change of scenario. It's very, very disappointing in every angle you look at this. This is bad news.
I mean, don't the Kurds need to reconcile with the Syrian government? It seems that's almost counterproductive to the Kurds in Syria.
What happened during the course of this intentionally made crisis in Syria is that the U.S. has always made promises or implicit promises to the Kurds that they will get something out of it, because they did quite a bit of the fighting against these jihadist groups. But anyone. I understand the Kurds and their desire for self-determination. I get that, okay? But the possibility of it happening is just close to zero. And they will get more. I've said repeatedly on CrossTalk for years is that as long as the conflict goes on, the Kurds are going to have hope of something better than they have now, all right? But that conflict is winding down, and it would be better, and you and I and Alexander Mikiris have talked about this many times, is that some kind of accommodation will be made, some kind of, we're going to have to play with semantics here about, regional autonomy, federalization. We're going to have to go through some word salad to get to that end. But it's very possible, and they have to do it. And of course, the Israelis want the Americans to stay because it'll block the arc, the Shia arc, from Iran to Lebanon. That's just nonsense. Just people say it doesn't make any sense. By the way, Iran has airplanes; they can fly to Lebanon. So this is hogwash. It doesn't make any sense. All right. So this is a bad day, a bad decision. And I think Trump is allowing himself to be underestimated and undermined by the people around him. So that, like I said, this is a very bad outcome. But this is just, who knows how many chapters are in this saga? Okay, we started with this in December. Now here we are at the end of February, and is anything firming up? We don't know.
God, the neocons they have so much. It seems they have so much control and so much power of Trump's foreign policy. It just makes you wonder. What
we have really here is a very toxic mixture, because we don't have any skepticism in the mainstream legacy media, because they've got their people, the Clappers and the Brennans. They're within the media now. See, this is the change that we're seeing. We've never seen anything quite like this.
Left and right. Left and right.
Left and right. So what we have here is capture. The media has been captured, and what they're doing is that they're just mimicking what the deep state, the neocons surround this administration. So they feed off of each other. All right, it's a circular loop, and who's getting cut out? The president certainly is. The people. Look, we've mentioned this before. When Trump made the announcement of the withdrawal, there were public opinion polls taken. Even after the media barrage, how this is a gift for Putin and all this stuff, still a slim majority, supported the idea. So we have these deep state characters, these neocons, and the legacy media all out of step with public opinion. That's the tragedy of the situation.
And you have 200 troops who to me act as a tripwire forever.
No, it's basically
they're there.
Yeah, it's one big middle finger to we'll decide. We'll decide. No one else will decide. They're there illegally under international law. The Syrians don't want them there, okay? And the Kurds, this gives the Kurds a glimmer of hope that is very unrealistic, okay? They should come to terms, okay? No one ever mentions that in the legacy media. No one ever mentions that at all, okay?
The American public, in a majority, that they don't want them there. They want them home as well.
Why they voted for him.
Yeah.
All right, so, again, what did Theresa May say? Brexit means Brexit? Well, it doesn't mean Brexit, apparently, and withdrawal means withdrawal. Apparently, it doesn't mean withdrawal.
Right. Well put. Peter Lavelle, host of RT's CrossTalk, thank you very much for that update on Syria. Guys, if you like this video, click on that subscribe button down below and click on that notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video. And visit the Duran shop. Buy a t-shirt. It really helps us out a lot. And in the description box down below, you'll find links to our PayPal and Patreon pages. Please donate to the Duran. And go to the Duran.com and see the articles we're linking up to every day. And please, please donate or buy a shirt, because when we talk about Syria, Peter, usually those videos get demonetized right away. So if you like what we're talking about, help us out. Peter Lavelle, host of RT's Crosstalk, thank you very much. Until next time, everybody.
My pleasure.
Take care.